Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another Currently Inked. It's been a little bit since I've done one and I like to do one once a month, so I'm back with another one. And I think I only have 6 pens inked, which is a very decent amount for me. There are a few pens that I've been thinking about inking. I haven't done it yet because there are also some pens that I really need to write dry. Like they've been inked for too long and I really need to get through them. Let us start with the pens. I have them in this Nokko pen pouch and there's pens in there, and let us just start with the first one. That is an Opus 88 Koloro. If you've been following me for a while, you know I love this pen. It is not a very expensive pen. I think I paid about 80 euros for it, but it's such a good writer. So this pen has one of the loveliest fine nibs that I've ever used, and it's a steel nib, but it's still very, very good. And I always enjoy using this pen. Like at one point, this was just inked for like 6 months. Story with this pen, I started off kind of unluckily. I ordered it, it came with the wrong nib, so I had to send the nib back, and the store where I bought it sent me like a new nib, so I couldn't use it immediately. And then I just inked it and I broke the cap, so I actually sort of dropped the pen, or well, it fell. I didn't do it on purpose. I tucked it into my journal, but it just fell when I was walking around, and the cap broke. So this part right here broke off. Contacted the store, they were really nice about it. They replaced the cap for me. It took a while for the cap to get to me, so I super glued, together with James, I super glued the top back on. And then at some point I left it at James's house for like months and months, because of course we were long distance, so I couldn't really get it back. So he had it for a long time, and then it came back to me, and I just love, 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 love it. So I'm not really letting it out of my sight right now. Anyway, writing simple. All right, here's the Opus 88, one of my favorite pens, and one of the cheaper pens I own, weirdly enough. This is the Opus 88 Koloro, as said before, and it is a fine nib. Love the sound that this nib makes. It's just a lovely, writing experience in all. The ink is Iroshizuku Iro Yamabudo. I left my bottle of Yamabudo in the Netherlands, like I didn't bring any ink, and this is James's bottle. It is like empty. So we really need to get a new one. And this is just a stiff nib. I would not really push this, but like just the normal writing experience is lovely. Also the cap is really, the threads are really dirty. It's just not great. This is like one of the pens that is a real user pen. Lovely. Okay, the second pen is one of those pens that I should probably write dry because it's been inked for a long time. And that is the Shawn Newton Orville. This is actually James's, although I have like combined our collections because we live together now, so that is okay. This is a black nib, and it is an all-around lovely, lovely writer. And the finish is just really gorgeous. But because I have so many other pens inked, this one just gets left behind in the dust a little bit. I don't know why. I like it, but it just isn't getting the attention it needs. So yeah, I should probably write this one dry. But yeah, lovely, lovely pen. So here we have a closer up of the Shawn Newton, and this is also fine nib, but you'll see the difference in fine nibs right there. Like fine nib and fine nib. I think they're even by the same company, which is really weird. This is an Orville with a fine nib. Has one of my favorite inks, Cross Violet. And it's a really nicely wet pen. So I don't know why I don't use it more. It's just really nice. But yeah, it gets kind of ignored, even though I love it. I don't even know how much ink is in here. So I've had it inked for like weeks and weeks. Oh, it's not that full. So when it gets more empty, I just screw the converter up. But yeah, okay. This one is like This is a goal this week. I'll write this one dry. Yep, it's a lovely pen. I really enjoy using it. Third one is one that I won't be uninking for a while because it is the pen that I talked about as a grill pen, and it is the M600 Pelikan Ruby Red, and it's just so gorgeous. It's lovely. I haven't found an ink yet that I want to keep in it for a long time, but I think that'll come. But yeah, lovely pen. Love, love, love. The Ruby Red. So currently inked with a purple ink, not cross violet, although I think I'm going for cross violet after this. I didn't fill it with cross violet because the Shawn is filled with cross violet, and I don't want to have two of the same inks inked. But I think cross violet would be a really good, nice ink for this. All right, the Pelikan M600. I love the size of this pen. This is a medium nib, which looks exactly the same size as the fine on the Orville, but it's okay. Diamine, Imperial Purple. It's a nice purple, but it's not my favorite purple. It feels a little more washed out than Cross Violet, so I think it's gonna be Cross Violet next. But I will write it dry before I do that. One that I inked very recently is a Twisty Eco, and this is the Smoke Rose Gold. This is not my favorite of the rose golds, but I love the nib on this one. It's an extra fine nib, and I've inked it with a very saturated ink, Diamine Purple Rain, but it still writes really well. So I'm really enjoying this pen, especially enjoying it because I'm using an A6 journal, and this extra fine nib is just really perfect for like the smaller journal. So let me zoom in a little bit more if I can, and then focus on there. Twisty Eco, Twisty Eco, extra fine. And I would say this is a true extra fine. It is inked with Diamine Purple Rain, which is like an almost black purple. I have a lot of purples inked up, but this, like, I feel like they're all very different. And this is like one of my favorite nibs to write with right now. It's also like such an easy pen to pull out when you want to do something quick, like a quick writing thing. This is the pen to pull out. It's really nice. Really enjoying it. Twisty Smoke Rose Gold. This pen for me is like a classic. I've had this for a long time. It's a Platinum 3776, and this was the first pen that I got with a softer nib. This is the Soft Fine, and it was a real interesting experience for me when I was just getting into pens and when I was just trying out fine nibs. And it is the, I think it's called the burgundy version with the gold trim. And I must admit, I don't think this is the most interesting color, but I think I got this one because honestly, it was cheap on eBay, and the soft fine nib is not always easy to get cheaper. So soft fine nib is supposedly like a slightly bouncier nib, but honestly, after using other soft nibs, I don't think this is a very good example of a soft nib. Now, it may be that I just have a bad example, of course. Platinum 3776, soft fine. It takes kind of work to actually make use of this soft nib. And I'm used to the FA nib by Pilot now, so it's very different. The ink is a Diamine, and I think it's Skull and Roses, but it's one of the sheeny blues. And then this is like normal scribbly writing, and then you can definitely push some variation out, like that's what it's meant to do. But in general writing, I don't feel like it gives way a lot. So it's not my favorite fine, soft fine, or like soft nib in general. But honestly, if you're starting out with the soft nibs, This is pretty good. I was really hesitant to try soft nibs at first. I loved stiffer nibs. So for me to try this out first, being that it is a softer nib but not super soft, I think it was good. The FA nib by Pilot is a whole different level in my opinion, but still fun to write with. And honestly, because it's fine, like it's a soft fine, I still like using it in this journal. And then last but not least, it is the Waterman Carene. And we inked this. James and I both have one. We both inked it to sign the marriage papers, which means it's also been inked for quite some time and it needs some more love. It's inked with a really nice ink, so I should just use it some more. And yeah, I just need to like journal with it more. I love that inlaid nib. It's gorgeous. It's not the best writing pen. It really needs an ink that matches the nib. It has a little bit of baby's bottom. This is the Carene. I think it's a medium nib. I honestly don't know anymore. It's not on the nib. It's an 18K nib. And with this ink, it's pretty good. So this ink is Maruzen Athena, I believe. And then Eternal Blue. It's James's favorite ink. It's like a more blue blackish, sheeny blue ink. And it is honestly lovely. And yes, I should use this more. It's kind of broad for this journal though. So that's maybe why I didn't do it. All right, those were my 6 pens that are inked. My camera refuses to focus on them, but that's okay because we focused on them before. 2 pens that really need to be written dry and the rest is fairly freshly inked. And yeah, I think before I'll ink something new, I will write those 2 dry, the Carene and the Orville, because I really must. They've been inked far too long. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions about the pens, please let me know in the comments. I actually got a computer, so now I can actually answer stuff. My laptop has just died. It's just like a dead thing. But yeah, please let me know if you have questions. Thank you guys for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.